What's up, everybody? It is 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night on the East Coast. That means it's time for Proper Royals Live. We got a good one tonight. Rashaad Williams from 212Exotics from Atlanta, Georgia is on the show. We'll have Rashad join us in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about, I titled the show Boutique something or other. And in fairness, I attached that name to Rashad. I don't know that he's ever referred to himself as that. But it struck me as really great animals that he has. Relatively small operation. If you're just starting out, you probably think it's a huge operation. And it might be. I'm going to get some stats. For all I know, he's got double what I got going on. But the reality is most of us operate in a world where our snakes are at least partially hobby and maybe some business. But the reality is we all got day jobs. We got lives we're leading. We got families. And Rashad fits that mold, and he does it really, really well. If you look at his stuff on Instagram and whatnot, it's cool stuff. So I wanted to talk to him about that. Plus, he's a good dude. He's he and I have chatted on and off for quite some time now. So it's pretty cool to have Rashad on the show tonight. So stick around. As always, I got stuff going on, man. I stay busy, and it pays off. If you ever like, why does Adam work like that? Why does he do what he does? Well, because it pays off. Sometimes you just show up and eventually things happen. So I drove down Friday night. I drove down to Tampa from Jacksonville, Florida. I went to the Tampa Repticon. Monstrous, huge thank you to Dale Richards at Constricted Reptiles. Dale, again, had me let me come vend for him, with him. He let me work the booth and get that experience that you really only get from doing it. I know Dale doesn't think too much of what he's offering to me, but I learned so much. I see the interactions, I see the flow and the pace of the show. You get to practice a little bit of sales, and it's really when you're working on somebody else's products and goods, you're extra sensitive to being sure of what you're doing. Like, I can't drive off a sale for Dale, and he's got expensive stuff, so God forbid I drive off one of those sales, So anyhow, it was a great weekend. Hey, I got to see. If you haven't been to these Florida shows, you really owe it to yourself. I mean, they're not Daytona. I get it. I know it's not. Let's keep things in perspective. On the other hand, in that room set up was Steve Casino. He was in there. Jeremy Baud at Baud's Exotic Reptiles. Georgia MD was there. Dale, of course, like I said. Jason Kittinger was not there, but his snakes were. Chris Davenport, same thing. Wasn't able to make the show, but his snakes were there. And then I got to see people that have good friends of the show that have really helped me out along the way, kind of spreading their wings too. Miguel, Perfectly Engineered Reptiles. He was vending. Congratulations to Miguel for getting that, making that dream and that vision come true. So it was really, really cool. We all hear that the economy is crap and that the market's tough and blah, blah, blah. I think that there's truth to it, but I also don't think it's the end of the world. Man, there is a lot going on. There was a lot of business going on. I will tell you transparently, I have no earthly idea what Dale's revenue was or what he sold. That's I purposely make that not my business. It's not my business. And so when it came time to negotiate or to sell something, I would artfully step aside. That's not like I said, that's not what I'm there for. But from an activity standpoint and transactions happening, it was solid. I think it was enticing for me to want to continue to learn about vending and to continue my journey into vending. I can also tell you other vendors that I was very close with. One in particular, who's a very experienced breeder and a very experienced vendor. He said it was his best show that he's ever had. Now, that could be that he's producing the best stuff he's ever been producing, and he's marketing, all those little things, doing it right together. But, it wasn't doomsday. I know that, again, I'm not going to speak specific names, but I know that most of the breeders I was interacting with had some sales. It was a worthwhile show. Are they retiring after the show? Probably not. But I think that there's opportunity out there. So keep your chins up, like any market cycle. And I'm 42 now. I've been through, starting in basically 2000 through now 2020, coming into 2023. I've been through a few of these. So things come around. I haven't been in it in the snake world, but the fact is, whether it's housing, whether it's selling burgers and restaurants, rounds of golf, vacation resort, travel, it all comes in cycles. It'll come around. Keep doing the right thing. Keep your foot down on the pedal, so to speak, as I like to say. I got Jesse Music from Musical Pythons. He's going to come hang out with me on Sunday this week. We're going to ultrasound some of my animals. I'm going to get to hang out with another good breeder that I respect, and going to welcome him up here to Proper Royals. We'll probably do some filming of some kind. I don't know, maybe we'll do an Instagram Live. I've never done an Instagram Live. Maybe it's time that I hit one of those. Speaking of guests, upcoming guests, I got the show booked through the end of the year. Here is what is coming on. By the way, hello to everybody in the chat. There's 2070 out of the gate. Now we're talking. On my little monologues, I try to stay engaged on the, with the camera. I didn't see what was going on over here. I like this. Very good stuff. Thank y'all for being here. Yeah, maybe we'll do an Instagram Live if Jesse wants to. I don't know what's up. We'll see what he's got going on. But he's certainly an insightful breeder. And speaking of doing good stuff, Jesse's been a good friend. So he's going to come up and hang out. I got the show booked the rest of the year. We're going to have Ray from Alluring Serpents next week. Speaking of good dudes in the industry, man, Ray. Stephen and Courtney will be on November 29th. Obviously good friends. If you've been around the show at all, you know that I'm good friends with them. They're in they got this little contest with, Snakes and the Fat Man, Mr. Eaton himself. So they'll tell you all about it when they're on. After that, a tricky thing. I'm going to announce it a couple times. We got a couple weeks to get it right. The first week of December, I cannot do the Tuesday night show. I got some family obligations. You all know in 16 months, there's only been one Tuesday that I didn't do the show. So this is going to be the second one. But have no fear. December 7th, which is a Wednesday, not only am I going to have the show, I'm going to have Garrick DeMeyer on the show, right? I'm going to make it up to you. You're going to change your schedule. You're going to check it out Wednesday, and I'm going to bring you, Garrick. How about that? How cool was that? He's going to come on the show. That's going to be awesome. Tuesday, December 13th, I got Reggie from Reggie's Urban Jungle, also in the Snakes and the Fat Man contest. December 20th, I got Andrew from Redwood Reptiles. You sense a theme here. All these people, they come out of the woodwork, want to hang out with Adam since they get in their little contest, That's fine. They want to do some advertising for me too. I'm down. These are all cool people. They're all good people that I wanted to have on the show. And then December 27th, the last Tuesday of 2022, I'm going to throw a little party, and I called up a good buddy. I needed a guest host. We're going to do like a open breeder chat. If you've been on the show, if you're in the audience, if you just want to hang out, I'll put the link out there. We're all going to drink a little bit of eggnog. You can have yours with bourbon or not, your choice, whatever you want that night. The one, the only, Mr. Gershon is going to come host the year-end party with me. Gershon, we're going to hang out with all of you all. We'll let the, we might throw the PG rating out the window. We'll tuck the kids into bed. They can go to sleep, and we'll have a grown-up breeder party that night to send 2022 off into the distance. And I hope it's been a pretty good year for you. It's been a good year for me. So thank you all. Speaking of good things, there are now 33 of you. I'm excited now to tell you, I think if you've watched the show in the last couple of weeks or seen on Instagram, you know that REDLINE Shipping came through and partnered with me, and they support the show now. They sponsor the show. It's fantastic. A couple things with their deal. One, they provide me with a really good competitive shipping rate so that I can pass on savings to my customers if you buy an animal from me. So check that out. I am sending out my current inventory list of available animals tomorrow night. Email me at properroyals@gmail.com or hit me on Instagram. However you want to get a hold of me, send me your email. If you want the direct, email. You get all the animals, and before they hit Morph Market, you get first dibs on them. Doesn't cost you anything, none of that. And I only send you one email a month. So that's coming out tomorrow. If you buy an animal, I can ship it to you cheaper. I can pass on the savings to you. Also, Redline is cool enough that they're going to give you an extra $5 off if you use the promo code PROPER5. If you missed any of that, that's about to be on the screen all episodes. So you can check that out. But what I got to tell you about is another thing you're going to see on the screen from now through 2023. I got a deal done. Again, if y'all have watched my channel for a long time, you know I'm an absolute loyal, raving fan of Cold Blooded Cafe. And hey, they're going to sponsor me. They're going to look after me a little bit on the show here. And you all as an audience have provided me the leverage to go to these great companies to align with them. Cold Blooded Cafe is a sponsor. I think they have the very best rats in the industry. I've been saying this long before they were a sponsor of mine. I got to find it. I got to show the clips sometime. Like maybe my 5th or 6th video, I was talking about what they were doing, 2.5 years ago. I'm not going to bore you with all the freezing techniques and all of that. I'll tell you, they have the freshest rats in the industry. I know that they do because they breed their own rats. Their competitors have lab rat contracts that they bring in, maybe alive, maybe dead. I'm not naming names, but I'm just telling you that's the fact. And Cold Blooded Cafe, you can see the difference in the packaging. You can see the difference. 25 years in food and beverage. I wear the coat. You see this coat. You can smell the difference when you open the package on the rats. If you want to use frozen thawed rats, check out Cold Blooded Cafe. Stay tuned. They are working on a personal promo code for just the Proper Royals viewers. So you're going to save a little bit of money as well by watching the show and using Cold Blooded Cafe. How cool, right? Big thanks to Desiree. She made me feel very, very special. Cold Blooded Cafe is her operation. And thank you so much for the partnership. Thank you so much for the trust that you're showing, trust in your brand next to the Proper Royals brand. Thank you. I saw Chris, BNS Reptile, in the audience. I hope all's well with the family. Many blessings. Maybe a congratulations. I'm not sure. You can fill us in if you choose. With all that being said, 36 of you didn't come to hear me yap by myself about what I've got done. I want you all to give a welcome for the first time to the Proper Royals stage, Rashaad Williams from 212 Exotics. Rashaad, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening? How's everybody doing?
I hope everybody's good. I hope everybody's going, wait a minute, is this show big enough for 2 chef coats? That is, I can't believe it. This is completely true, audience. I had no idea, and I was fiddling around with audio, and I was like, Rashad, I need to hang on for a second. I looked down, I was like, you're wearing a chef coat, man. What is going on here? So tell us what's going on with the chef coat. What's up with the logos? Frankly, explain yourself, what you're doing on a ball python show in a chef coat when, there's already one wacko doing this.
Well, first off, Adam, thanks for having me. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. The thing about this, so I have my own brand. I created my own plate logo. Basically, I have my own catering company, and I love to do, small, intimate catering, small gatherings, private sessions, things like that. So this is the Chef Shot G Experience LLC, and I've been doing it now since 2017. It's one of those things where I grew up in the kitchen, with grandmother, and I developed a love for the art of food. So it's just something that I wanted to take to the next level. Went to school for it, and here I am today. A guy in a chef coat who loves ball pythons and reptiles, who is also in the food industry.
Who knew, man? I love it. So when we were catching up this afternoon, and again, sort of the behind the scenes things, I try and find some rapport with all the guests so that we have something to talk about conversationally rather than just like 20 questions. What next do you do? What is it? And Rashad sends me like a portfolio. I thought, what's on Instagram sometimes when like somebody hits, I got like 9 pictures right in a row. I was like, what is this? And I opened it up, and it is beautiful food. And I told him, like, dirty secret, I really kind of cringe when a lot of people send me pictures of their food. And it's not because I'm a snob. It's because I'm looking for the right balance of colors and garnish and presentation. And is the plate tidy? All those things that you would expect at a nice place, you know? So I got a critical eye for it. It's what I do. It's like how we all look at ball pythons. And I was like, Rashad, I mean, you'll vouch for it. I was like, Rashad, this is legit stuff, man. This looks good. You got you got grilled sliced mangoes next to fried chicken, and it looked like maybe a spicy honey glaze or something like that. I was like, this ain't just I ordered this from Publix and thought I'd chef it up a little bit tonight. You know what I mean? So it was very cool. I was impressed. I want to come hang out and have some beverages and enjoy some food now in Atlanta sometime. So
for sure, always welcome. Always welcome.
Awesome, man. I would love to. What's up, Ray? Hey, hello to everybody in the audience too. I'm not the best with all the. You guys know all the shout outs and all that, but I really treasure you all in the audience. I love the conversations that I get to see. And again, you all are the ones that provide the leverage for me being able to say what a strong brand we are and how long we've had this show going. So this is really cool. I very, very much appreciate it. So Rashad, people that don't know you, and I'll say you've kind of made your rounds on some of the podcasts. So I was thinking, instead of spending a really long time on the backstory, because people could find it. And by the way, I thought Mike at Herp Collectors did a great interview with you. Mike's been a good friend of the show, good supporter.
Mike's a good guy for sure.
Mike's awesome, and you guys dug in on a lot of history, a lot of background. But give us the couple-minute version, and then land with where you are, the scope of your operation right now, and then tonight's show we'll take like from where you are into the future maybe. And we'll see where it all goes. Who knows? There's no real rules anyhow.
For sure. Well, like you said, Rashaad Williams, Atlanta, Georgia, owner of 212Exotics, owner of the Chef Shot G Experience, owner of 212 Visuals. So I have a multi-operation going on. Food, photography, and reptiles is my life. Love food, love photography, love reptiles. So those are the three things that I focus on outside of family, being a husband, and just work-life balance. So those are the things that I do. Those are the things that I love. As far as my collection, I'm actually kind of shocked that you named it Boutique Snake Breeder Operations. Only because I have been trying to bind myself within the confines of being a boutique breeder, right? So we talk about boutique. What is boutique? You're right, small collection. However, my collection is small. Like I'm in right now a 10 by 12 room, right? So my collection is not that big. However, I am working on boosting the power of my collection. So I'm working on it. I am working on becoming a not necessarily a premier boutique breeder because I'm not necessarily for all of the attention, but I do like to produce nice things, and I do like to produce what I want. So that's my goal right now.
Nice, and I appreciate that, and I want to pick it apart some actually tonight because I focus a lot on the business part of it. I'm pretty dollars and pennies driven. I bet people would say Adam's missing out on breeding and project opportunities because he's too focused on money. And I'm going, well, sometimes that's the name of business. And wine in a restaurant, I'd love to sell Napa Cabernet and filet mignon every night, but sometimes you got to sell some chicken tenders to keep the lights on. Okay?
Chicken and fries.
That's right, baby. I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna make money one way or another. But it struck me how confident and not only confident, confident and comfortable you were saying, I'm doing what I want to do. The market doesn't matter. This is for me to walk into and enjoy my peace of mind every night. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need a little breath of fresh air rather from all the money and the dollars and the cents sometimes, because you can get burdensome. And I will say most successful breeders have always said to me, you got to do what you love early on. You can't worry about the dollars and the cents. I'm stubborn. I got a vision. Time will tell. I could be wrong. I could lose. I could be wrong. But I also think that there's a million answers for a million questions based on each person's unique drive, skill set, and their resources. And matter of fact, just simply how crazy we are. I mean, we were just talking off the air. You're going to get up at 3:30 tomorrow morning to go follow your career path. At some point, you're going to do a private dinner, which is you're going to be doing on top of following that career path. And then you got two other businesses with 212Exotics and your visual arts stuff. So, you know what? I get it. The music, the restaurant consulting, the ball pythons for me. I get it there. I want to pull all that apart though tonight. So
let's go.
Yeah, why not? Right. And I don't want to speak for you on any of that. I'm looking at my notes before we dive into the deep stuff, and maybe we will do that. So you used an expression when you were talking with Mike, and now that was what, 5-6 months ago?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. So you've had a season of eggs and hatchlings since then. So it's going to be cool for me to get kind of both perspectives. But when you were on with Mike, you used an expression or talked about either refocusing or concentrating your focus on what you were breeding rather than let me breed everything and I'll figure out what's out there. It was boom, here's what I'm after. So give us the update. What are you after? What'd you hit this year? What are you after now that we're knocking on pairing season again, if not already pairing for the next season?
For sure. So I will tell you this past season. So for the 2022 year, I bred 15 clutches. First time and last time. So I won't have 15 clutches again. Not that it's hard. However, this year was the year literally I was just breeding stuff. I ultrasounding and I wanted to basically get that out of my system. I was ultrasounding. If it had 14 millimeter follicles, I was pairing it, right? And it was just to get the ball rolling. Not only that, I had joint projects going on, just trying to get the ball rolling into the things that I want. This year, like you said, we're knocking on the door for starting to pair for the 2023 season. I've already started. My first girl is already 14 millimeters, but I want to really focus on the triple recessive desert ghost hypo clown project. I also want to focus on the hypo clown pie project, and I want to, and I'm also focusing this year on the double head desert ghost pie project. So trying to build my desert ghost army. I've done that this year. He sired 1, 2, 3 clutches.
What is that, a pinstripe desert ghost? What else is in that?
It is a leopard pinstripe desert ghost that is 100% double head hypo clown. Excuse me, 100% double head hypo clown.
Okay, so it's visual DG head hypo clown.
Correct. Yep. So
man. Okay.
Shout out to my good friend Keisha at Splash Pack Reptiles. She blessed me with that animal. And when I say blessed, like I still had to pay for it. So.
Right. I know the feeling. I picked up one from Jeremy this weekend, and people were like, "He just gave it to you." I was like, "No, there's value." I mean, it's still business
for sure. But
I got it now. This is the one for me now. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that she allowed me to buy it, she could have sold that. She could have sold that animal to anybody else.
That's true. There you go.
But that's one thing that I'm working on. I finally produced my first double recessives this year in clown pies. So I was very excited about that.
Congratulations. Yeah, you hadn't yet when that show with Mike aired. So I'm glad to hear that they had come out. They came on for you.
Yep. So finally produced my first double recessives. Also produced blackhead clowns this year. This year was my first year producing pies as well. So the clown pies was also my first time producing pies. So I produced a lot of recessives this year that I had not produced, and I am working on building my projects. I added some new genetics this year. bongo, ultra male, some more hypo stuff. So things like that I've been adding to my my breeding plan to get started for the further, years coming.
Very cool. And this year on your pairings, what's going to be? I know you said you were focusing on a few things. What is your sort of best case scenario of what you can land on your pairings this year?
So this year I should be producing double head. Well, I produced that this year. I got a clutch in the incubator right now that's shedding out. That is double head hypo and desert ghost. That is possible head clown. But I also have hypo in the clutch. So hypo, that is head desert ghost, that is possible head clown. So I have that in the incubator right now shedding out. So next year I'll be working on some actual clowns that are actually 100% het desert ghost and possible het pied. So I want to kind of wrap those projects around. I just acquired this year also VPI Xanic clown. I just acquired this year.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw your picture on it. It was Ray just picked up from, speaking of alluring serpents, Ray just picked up one as well. They're great looking, man. I saw your post on Instagram on that. You had that was the one you had the survey question on, the yes or no.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
So I picked that up from a buddy of mine, Dre from the Kundalini Serpent. I said that correct. So I picked that up from him, and like I said, he blessed me with that animal. He trusted me to buy that animal from him, so I got that animal from him, and that's really it. I'm working pieds, desert ghosts, clowns, hypos, and VPI Xanic. Those are my recessives that I'm working with.
Very nice. This topic comes up a lot, and I actually got a little bit of insight on it. So let's jump in on this really quick. Elite Exotics asks, sending sheds to get tested, ? I have an acid 50% het clown male. He's going to breed this season. He's ready to go. So knowing whether he's het clown or not is a big deal, especially with a gene like acid and potential with it right now. Elite Exotics and a few other people have brought this up as well. I sent it in. They were very, very good they confirmed when they received the shed. They confirmed that my coding, they give you these coding instructions for both the envelope and the shed packet. And then they confirmed that they received mine and that it matched the code. So they knew what they were testing. The sort of provenance of the testing in the shed is still intact, is good. But then the line went dead. That's been a month, 5 weeks now. I haven't heard anything more from it. However, at the Tampa Repticon this weekend, I was talking with Jeremy Bod, and he said, I got the same thing. He goes, they've got a bunch of, he sent in many sheds. I've only sent in one. They actually said to him that the people that got invited on the first round of testing, or that were in line and accepted the first round of tests, it wasn't anything special for me. I just wasn't like, oh, Adam, you get to get tested. No, I entered to be tested. Anyway, they said that first round of people testing should be getting results by Thursday this week. So like tomorrow, next day, I don't know. So
right.
We'll see. Oh, Steven says, nice, Steven, you're the very first one that I've heard to get your test back on it. I hope they were good. I hope they were what you were after. I mean, I know we don't pay for them to be like just what we want to hear, but it's good when it is what we want to hear, right? He says it proved to not have yellow belly, so they tested for yellow belly. All right. Oh, Prophecy Exotics got your test back. Okay, cool. So yeah, the machine's working. It's happening. Keisha Splash Pack says it's going to take 2+ months. From start to finish, I'm around 6 weeks on it. So, and they didn't promise anything different. They left everything kind of vague what they promised. So, the next sort of real test is going to be when people put those animals to use and verify that those tests are accurate. It's great.
Accurate, correct.
You know what I mean? It's great to get a response back, but if 30% of the industry goes, that was all nonsense, we got a big problem on our hands, right? So
for sure,
we'll see what's up. I'm hoping mine proves positive on paper, and then I'm hoping it proves positive in the snake room. So
that's for sure.
On back to you, Rashad. On your breeding, where do you fall on what you hold back versus what you sort of buy forward? I did a video recently on kind of the two philosophies, and it's a spectrum. I realize that people fall on both places on it. What's your strategy when it comes to what you hold back versus just buying what you need on the next one?
Gotcha. So my thing is, if I have the genetics already, I don't hold it back, right? So let me be kind of specific. This year I did a pairing to a Savannah het clown to the leopard pin desert ghost that was double het hypo clown. I did miss the clown in that clutch. However, I hatched out a really nice Savannah, really nice cinnamon Mojave. That looks far better than a mom. Like, you can see the het DG influence.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping is that she proves clown. But I also hatch leopard pins that are possible double het. No need for me to keep those, whether it's male or female, right? I have a proven breeder leopard pin desert ghost that I don't need to keep those genetics, right? So it's stuff like that I keep. This year I've had him sire 1, 2, 3. He sired 3 clutches, and there's a double sire to a clutch. But out of those 3 clutches, 17 eggs, 11 of those are pinstripe.
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with pinstripe. Love it, especially once you start to add genes to it. However, there's no need for me to hold everything back. Right. Again, I have pinstripe with the leopard pinstripe. However, I didn't have the hypo pinstripe that was het desert ghost. So those 2, male and female, I'll be holding back. The other 2 females that I have in that clutch, they're possibly for sale. I don't even know how to identify them, to be honest with you. I've scrounged around Morph Market trying to figure out what they are, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure that out right now. Like I said, I don't know if all of them are shedded, but I didn't even check on them today. I checked on them 2 days ago. Only 2 had shedded, so I'd only assume that all of them are shed out by today. So I'll look at those later, try to figure out what they are, post some pictures in some groups, send them out to people, see what I need to keep, see what I don't need to keep. Otherwise, it's for sale. Everything I don't keep is definitely for sale or trade or whatever. I'm like you, right? Everything is dollars and cents. To me, it's what makes sense. Like, if it makes sense to me to have it in my collection and trade for it, then that's what I'm gonna do. If it makes sense to me to just go out and buy it, that's what I'm gonna do. So that's just how I look at it. I do have a couple of animals here that I've hatched out, don't necessarily need, but I'm also creating replacements and backups for animals that I do have. So
Rashad, I'm really sorry, Rashad. I got to get my battery pack. I'm about to lose. I thought I had a full pack here.
You're good. Go ahead.
Carry on for 1 second. Audience, forgive me, man. That's an amateur mistake not to plug in my laptop. I'll be right back. 1 second.
All right, it's all good. I'll just continue saying what I was saying. Like I said, I just breed what I keep. I'm replacing animals right now to be holdback replacements. So that I can let go some of the breeders that I don't need anymore. A couple of males that I have, which is, a pastel pie that's het clown, that's possible het lab. I'm trying to prove that guy out this year. So if he doesn't prove out, he's definitely for sale because I won't need him anymore. I've got a yellow belly pie that I'm sitting on here. I've got a orange dream inchy vanilla het pie that I'm growing up to breed out. So there's things like that I'm working on, just replacing genetics, adding more genetics to what I have, and trying to build my new holdback army and replace the old one.
I didn't hear exactly everything that was said there. On the last interaction, or the last part of the conversation we had too, I think there's important that I talk about a lot. It comes down to a lot of space, resources, time, what you're able to apply to it. Maybe it would be different if you didn't have 3 other businesses and you had 500 square feet and all the time in the world. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it as in that's the path and the route that you chose that fits for you. And to your point, that's what makes sense for you to do. And that's how it's kind of been for me too. Like I've never had this mystery or this feeling like I have to be the one to produce it. If I could buy what's available, I want to then produce something beyond that kind of deal. And then when I get to the point where like working with Dale has been outstanding because the stuff he's producing just really probably doesn't even exist elsewhere in the world. So yeah, if I get to his point, then my path will change. But for right now, if I'm trying to make a mahogany yellow belly clown, I'm not going to start with mahogany and yellow belly and then make hets and then then. No, I'll raise the money to where I could go buy at least a mahogany head, if not the mahogany clown, or buy the nice male and then find the less expensive, So I'll play the game on the way up. And that's not knocking anybody else. I know there's people that take huge pride in it. And honestly, the longer the game, I guess the better the total holdbacks are because it will be exponentially bigger. But you just need exponentially more space, time, resources, cleaning, all of that kind of thing.
So funny enough, you were mentioning Gershon earlier, and he's going to be, at the last show of the year hosting and stuff like that. I get on me and him talk on the phone regularly.
Okay.
And I get on his case all the time. I ask him, hey, what are you going to hold back from that clutch? And he's like, I'm not holding nothing back. I'm going to sell everything, and then I'm going to buy a visual head so that I can do this and do that and do this and do that. And I'm like, no, you got to hold something back. Even if you just hold one, pick the best one out of the clutch, hold it, and then, if you want to sell the rest and then put that money towards what you want to buy, great, but hold something back. So that's where I'm at now.
Now, why do you say to him to hold it just for the pride of the lineage that goes with it?
No,
or the look back, or what's
not necessarily, because Gershon, not only does he breed to build his collection, I mean, he also breeds to sell too. So, you have a inchy het pied that you bring, and this is just an example. This is not his collection.
Sure, yeah.
You have an inchy het pied that you breed to a inchy clown that's het for pied, right? So possibility that you have super inchy pieds that are het for clown.
Right.
Gershon's the type, and I promise this is no shade at my brother because
I know we're all brother, we're all cool here, yeah.
But Gershon's the type, he will sell that entire clutch, even if he hit the super inchy pied that's het for clown. He will sell it and be like, I'm going to sell that and just put that money towards buying an actual super inchy clown pie.
Yeah. And
I'm like, well, in 8 months that male can grow up and breed, you could at least have it as a backup or something. And he's like, nah, I'll sell it. I'll buy visual. And I'm like, okay.
Dude, I'll say there's time. So I have like 3 categories. I have like definite sell, definitely let go. I have definite holdbacks. Yeah. And then I'll have things that are like, okay, that's going to help the cash flow, or both of these can help the cash flow. I'll sell whatever the first one is that sells, then the other one goes into the holdback kind of thing, along the lines of what you're talking about. Because, yeah, I could buy one up, but yes, the other thing I can do is have more resources to make that exponentially bigger clutch in the future, or the additional clutch. It's going to give me 8 to 10 times in the chances to produce something in another batch of eggs kind of thing. So, but again, that's from more of a business stance than from a hobby stance. And I know this sounds really crazy, as excited as some people are to hit certain things in clutches. I get excited when I get to be a step closer to never clocking in again somewhere, never having to worry about
for sure.
Doing anything that I don't just passionately want to go do. And life, that's not how life works. We have to go, you take the good with the bad and you make the ends meet, and you're a dad and a husband. You get what I'm talking about, beyond just being a human living on this earth. So I get it, but I enjoy figuring out the business parts of it. I enjoy figuring out, all right, how do I raise revenue here, cut costs here, and move forward in my plans and my collection. So I love that stuff, man.
And
I
to
love it.
piggyback on what you were saying, I was just having that conversation in some Instagram groups that I was in earlier. Mershon's Morph, they posted the banana hurricane Pompeii.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and but they sold it.
Ooh,
And so me, right, to go to your point, that's exactly right. That's exactly what you should do. To me, I'm like, how long did it take you to create that, and why
right,
did you sell it?
right,
You
right.
know, so that. But again, it's just different perspectives. Um, this is truly a hobby for me. Not
Yeah,
saying that it's not a hobby for anybody else, but it is truly 100% hobby based for me. Yes, do I like making money from it? Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't, right?
right.
Um, but at the same time, I feel like if I get away from what I love, then even if the money's coming in, I'm gonna feel like I gotta do it. Um, and to kind of touch base on me catering, right? I've done events that at the time my wife was my girlfriend, like she's helped me cater and stuff like that. So she knows how I operate, right? So let's say I have a crowd of 200 people. I want that first plate to be like that last plate. And
That's
so
right.
the first plate should be the same quality as plate 200,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep.
If that plate is not the same, if plate 200 is not the same as plate one, I failed the entire mission, right? And that's just how I feel.
Right.
Whereas the person actually receiving plate 200 may be like, oh man, that was amazing, but to me, I can look at it and tell it's just not the same.
It wasn't there.
Um,
Right.
right. So that I stopped doing huge crowds for that reason,
Yeah.
right? So I will limit myself to, all right, 25 people, 30 people, 50 people max, right? And my wife all the time, she hey, such and such wants to know if you can do this event, and I'm like, no. I get to the point where I turn it down just because I'm very particular about the product that I put out there.
Well, and you should, I would say, whether it's food, I relate to it in a food matter. I'm about to use a wedding example. But in anything, I think it's very, very important that we're able to deliver what we promise and what our brand promises.
For
So
sure. For sure.
it's some of it's timing and the point in the evolution that you're at. But you're exactly right about the quantity of people at the well, I still consult for them, but the last resort that I was operating at, I had to talk to our board of directors and say, this makes no sense for us to take on 300-person weddings. We're not doing a good job on it, not because we don't want to and not because we're not skilled enough to. We don't have the
Yep.
resources to do this. We don't have a
Correct.
backup plan if a
Correct.
thunderstorm rolls across the mountains here to
Correct.
put
Yep.
300 people. And all it's going to do is tarnish us by going for a cash grab now when all we need to do is do an extra wedding to make up that variance of take it down to 200, do 200 weddings instead of 300 one, and crush them, kill them, knock it out of the park. Now,
For
but
sure.
that's with a commercial kitchen, that's with the commercial facilities, backup
Everything
plan,
you need. Right.
a staff in place and all of that. But I do think that applies to ball pythons too. What good does it do to have 250 ball pythons if you can't clean them? If you can't go on vacation and them not get sick because they're soiling in their own cells. So all of that, on the surface, I don't get into it a lot, but all of that plays into what do I keep? What do I sell? Am I going to buy forward? Do I have I don't have an extra building to have one rack per project. I got where that light's coming from. I got an 8x10 room there, and I got a cell rack right here, and just a very little hatchling one. That's going to be what I do. That's it. So I got to choose very specifically what I'm after, what plans I'm after. See what the dice rolls. I don't know. I mean, I got 2 triple hets that are going to go together next year. Well, whatever they produce is going to be a pretty big determinant of what direction I go in, because I doubt I'm going to, you know what I mean? So you take what you can get sometimes, and there's more to it than me just going, I'm going to sell everything for the money. I like selling things for the money. Don't get me wrong, but there is more to it. And I know I'm saying that more like to the audience for food for thought rather than as a lecture to you, for sure.
For sure.
So speaking of a busy life, of family, of ball pythons, tell me, where's the balance and all that? Is it all, are you a one-man show on your ball pythons, or talk some about your daily rhythms and flow and operations?
So the great thing about my life is that my wife works from home, which means I'm able to be a little bit more flexible. Also, our son, he's only just now 11 months old as of November the 10th. So he's still relatively young. He's still sleeping a lot. However, it does require a lot of attention. So when I get home, my first thing is him, as much as I can. I can do better at I can do better at giving my wife a break.
Yeah.
But however, she supports everything I have going on. So I'm able to come in, clean animals on a daily basis. Even if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 racks total in this room. Only one ARS, but otherwise just 9 racks where I keep sub-adults and hatchlings and stuff like that. So I just generate my focus, right? Clean this rack today, that rack tomorrow, that rack the next day. And it's just a system that I create. So she's very supportive of that. If I just absolutely need her, she'll come in and do the same thing. So she supports me when it comes down to this reptile business. When it comes down to the other businesses, she's forever and a day trying to get me to book jobs. Hey, such and such needs these photos done. Can you do it? Such and such wants you to make that spinach dip again. The one you made for a baby shower. Can you make it for this event that she's having for Thanksgiving? Like, that's how she is.
Yeah.
But she's so supportive. She's so motivating. She's always pushing me to do more. Regardless if I believe I can handle it or not, she knows I can handle it. So that's what she pushes me to do,
Man, I get I think our lives will get along well. She never says this, but I get the feeling, you know what I mean? You can feel things sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to have all those snakes, what consultant gigs are you getting? What music gigs did you pick up? Wait, they called you could play tonight and you didn't take the gig? Well, yeah, I'm tired, baby. Wait, you've been working on the snakes. That's why you're tired. You better go take that money.
For sure.
And you know what? It's true. I mean, I enjoy all of it. Is fun to me, and if I'm going to be tired and exhausted, I may as well do it having fun.
100%. And another thing too, like with my work schedule, because I do rotate shifts every 4 weeks.
That's right.
As of right now, I am on first shift, so I work right now 6 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So right now is good timing for me to come home, be a family man.
Right.
Spend time with them. And then once my son goes to sleep at 7 o'clock, I'm pretty much at my own mercy to come in and do what I want to do until it's time for me to go to sleep. Right. So with stuff like that, like I say, I make time. I find time for the things that I need to. But on the flip hand side, I'm also a homebody. I'm not the one that's hanging out all the time with friends. I'm not the one I'm at home.
Right.
If you're looking for me, I'm home. So that's just how I get by,
Yeah. I hear you on that. After I got out of restaurant operations, it was like, man, I don't want to go out. I've spent the last, quarter century of my life in restaurants. If I do go out and want to have a beer, I may as well make some money at it and go play a gig and do it. It's kind of, it fits that way. Or if I want to travel to Tampa, all right, I'll do it. I'll go to a reptile show and take the expenses and get a learning experience with it also. Let's take a break for a second here. We got 55 of y'all in the audience. I appreciate you being here. I'm on with Rashad. Yeah, from 212Exotics. And one thing I love about the audience, by and large, is that I know almost everybody in here. Of course, I always wanted to see new people, and there are some new people. Stick with it. I appreciate you being here, Elite. I think Elite's been here before, but I think Keisha's a new in on the show tonight. So, like, one of the best things about having a new guest every week is kind of some of the new people that they bring. So, I really appreciate you. I saw you shouted out on the is it Instagram stories? Is that what that is?
For sure.
I suck at Instagram. I'm getting better, but I'm no good.
Me too. I'm struggling too, but I'm getting there.
I'm gonna figure. I don't know the difference between a story and anything else, but I know it is different. I just don't understand the value yet, but I'll get there. So thanks everybody. Next week we got Ray from Alluring Serpents. I just saw him Ray is there. He's in the audience. Following week, Stephen and Courtney. I don't know if they're still in. And then the first week of December, the Tuesday show, I got to postpone to Wednesday. I got a family thing that you guys know I've missed one Tuesday in 16 months. This Tuesday, I got that Tuesday, just the first week in December, I got to miss. But Wednesday night, Garrick DeMeyer is going to be on. So, you change your schedule. I'm going to bring you a killer guest, bring a legend to the show. Reggie from Reggie's Urban Jungle. I think he's in the audience too. Thanks for coming by. And then Andrew from Redwood. And then we're going to finish off the year with Gershon and I are going to host end of the year open chat kind of party, hangout, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we got coming on. And Hugh, I got to figure out how to point right up. Almost got it. I can't point. Anyway, Cold Blooded Cafe is now sponsoring the channel. We've got a deal in place for all of 2023. Thank you so much to Desiree and the team at Cold Blooded. Also, Redline shipping. Obviously, they've been good to me. Some of y'all were saying that you saved money today doing it. First, I'm glad you all saved money, and I mean that. I want that to be the case. Secondly, when you use that code, it lets them judge kind of my performance as well and what the reach is. So maybe I'll be able to lower prices even more on future shipping for Proper Royals customers. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for the audience, and enough of paying the bills. Flawless Exotic Creations. That's Will and Audra up in Spartanburg. Thank you guys. Thanks for doing what you all do, and everybody check out Flawless Exotic Creations. I don't know what the stats are. I'll let them talk their own business and money, but let me tell you, they're six figures into investing in ball pythons. They got good stuff going on, man. And killer crested geckos. If you wonder how one comes up with six figures to invest in ball pythons, you crush the market in crested geckos. That's the short answer. So they know what they're doing. Give them a check and see what's going on. Oh man, people getting sensitive. Benevolent Reptiles. I missed your inbox request to come on the show and introduce yourself to me. I'm giving you a hard time. I don't know when it ends. Those were the people that lined up and that I talked to. So, but yeah, all kinds of the lamers contests. What a brilliant thing. Get 25 people hyped up over something and then go have them market for your show for a month and a half. I love it. It's all
Genius.
good on that.
Yeah,
it is brilliant. I got no problem with that. So nothing but respect for Chris. He has been good to me. Our schedules never worked out, but Chris has been a good dude. You mentioned on one of the talks as well, Rashad, in the past. Talk to me about your beliefs on feeding, overfeeding, power feeding, the pace that you feed at, how you feed, live, frozen, all that. Talk to us about your feeding.
Okay, so I'll start from hatchlings. So with hatchlings, I feed pretty much every 5 to 7 days. Every 5 to 7 days, I feed hatchlings, and I feed them a little more frequent just to get them going. Right. Once they get to a certain size, it's every 7 to 10. All right. Along with my juveniles, every 7 to 10. Subadults, every 7 to 10. Adults outside of breeding season, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep. Every 2 weeks. Once it's breeding seasons, weekly.
Yeah.
Weekly for the ones that I'm definitely going to breed, every 2 weeks for the ones that I'm not. But with my males period, my breeder males period, it doesn't matter if it's breeding season or not, every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So on mine, I probably feed my hatchlings a little more, and I feed them pretty small, probably every 3 to 4 days until they've had about 3 to 4 meals.
Yeah.
And then I actually cut them off because that's when I want to feed them. That's when I want to switch them over to frozen thawed. That's where
gotcha.
I go from live to saying, all right, you're sustainable. You got food in your belly. You're processing. You're healthy. I've checked all those boxes. Now it's time to get stubborn and see who's going to win this waiting game of whether you're going to eat frozen thawed or not. And that's how I get mine switched over to frozen thawed. Somebody was asking earlier how they get a snake that's been on ASFs all their lives over to frozen thawed. I can't speak to the adults, but the babies, that's what I do. I would say just hold out on them and make sure that they're healthy and not losing weight. But otherwise, see what you can get done. But then actually, once that happens, and maybe once they're at about 150 grams, I actually go to the 2-week program right there. My biggest females that can safely take medium rats, I'll feed them once every 3 weeks on a big medium. Sometimes you get a small medium that's like a large small kind of deal, but a true medium rat, I'll feed them once every 3 weeks, and then when breeding season comes, I'll feed them every other week. Or if I have a week that I pull too many frozen, sure, I'll throw another one to a breeder type of deal. But I'm with you. You were talking, that if something's going to take 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, it's the snake's pace. It's not our pace to where they get to. And I can't believe it. I've got that acid hatchling. I talk about him all the time, man. He's a 2022 and he's at 900 grams, and everybody's like, man, what are you feeding him? I'm like, 1 ASF a week. I mean, I do give him 1 a week because I do want to see if I can get him breeding this year. But I'm not feeding them monsters. And actually, Tito from Tradesman, he's my guy. Tito knows. Yeah. Tito ain't sending me extra large ASFs. I mean, these are sub-adult ASFs that I feed, and that's it. Some just do better than others on the growth. Now, he's not locked. It doesn't mean he's going to hit sexual maturity any sooner. I hope he does, but I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, I have not found the need for the huge urgent feeding. I mean, sometimes if you got a deadline and you want to get them in this season, I know that we try, but otherwise I don't push them, man. I don't set out from the baby to be like, all right, going to force, going to power feed this.
Right.
So, and you feed all live?
I do. As of right now, I feed all live. I feed all live and pre-kill.
I'm sorry, you feed all live? Oh, pre-killed. Excuse me. Sorry, I got distracted. I got a bot I got to get rid of. Hang on a second here. Timeout? No, blocked.
Uh-oh.
We're not looking for love. We're looking for ball pythons. All right, go ahead.
There you go. So I feed live and pre-kill, and the only reason I feed pre-kill, right, when you and I say this loosely.
Oh, we lost him right at the critical point. Rashad, you there?
We're good.
Okay, we lost you right where you were saying, I only say this because, and then it froze.
Okay, so I say this loosely, and I only say it because when you develop a relationship with snakes, and I say that again loosely. I'm not in here every day, talking to Tito and talking to Whoopi and talking to Blake. No, when I say develop a relationship, what I mean is when you learn the mannerisms of your snakes, right?
It took me a minute to realize those were the names of your snakes. I was like, wait a minute, I talk to Tito all the time, man. Like, okay, never mind.
When you learn the snakes' mannerisms and how they feed and how they all right, when I pull this tub, yep, I can drop the live in, won't have a problem. However, there's some when I pull the tub, I drop the live in, and I'm like, nope, I can't do live anymore. So I either have to do pre-kill or frozen thaw. I'm not a fan of frozen thaw, only because it's time consuming. I know a lot of folks like, oh, it's nasty. No, I don't think any of that. It's just time consuming. I got to wait from the thaw. I got to heat them up to a proper temperature. Just too much. I'd rather just do pre-kill, body still kind of warm, woo up the bam, boom, right? So I do pre-kill for certain snakes. and live for everything else.
Yeah. I think it's important what you were saying about, and I don't think most people realize either. I think in the audience, most people probably do realize, but in general, I don't think that they necessarily have the personalities that a dog or a cat might have. Nicole would disagree with me, and I respectfully will let her disagree with me. But to your point, I know which ones I just have to leave it like it's a buffet. They're never going to strike it off the tongs, and they're never going to strike it while the tub's open.
Right.
But it's gone in the morning.
Yep,
Okay,
leave
that's
it in there,
fine.
it's gone. Yep.
Yeah, I leave it for them, no problem. And then I know that there's others. I better use the hook to open that tub, or else my finger's going to get wrapped up when that thing comes flying out after that rat. And getting to know those animals in that way, it also tells you when if they're not feeling well, if there's if they're being too lethargic, maybe there's something off with the temperature or something like that. I think it's important to know your snakes like that. And I'd be interested to talk to a guy like Garrett DeMeyer. I'm sure he's got thousands of snakes.
Right. Couldn't imagine.
Well, yeah. What level of knowledge does he have? Because I mean, it's still a 2-man operation that he runs his place with. So he intimately is interacting with those snakes constantly. So that'd be a good topic to talk with him on that. But yeah, you're right about getting to know each one of them, and again, knowing their mannerisms. What would be odd for one snake is perfectly normal for this one, and vice versa, kind of thing. So, any pickups on the horizon? Any targets you got your eye on out there? What's the next purchase or the next investment? What do you got going on for what's up next?
So I've made quite a few investments this year. VPI Exotic Clown, Orange Dream Fire Leopard Butter Clown, Pastel Yellow Belly Double Head DG Pie, Pastel Chocolate Hypo Double Head DG Pie.
Chocolate Hypo is where it's at, right? Am I wrong about that? Man,
and that's what made me like DG. So before that, I didn't like DG until I seen chocolate in it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm extremely late to the game for DG. I've had reptiles. I've had ball pythons since 2011,
Right.
2012, and I just got DG last year.
I still don't have it. I should. I got 10 recessives. It's like I'll pick it up. I'll get there.
I love it now.
Yeah.
But the chocolate is what made me. So that's in the goals for the DG Clown project. Is a basically DG Dark Knight, which I think somebody has already produced, and it is phenomenal. I'm sorry that I don't remember who it was, but it looks amazing. Otherwise, my latest pickups are a black pastel hypo, 100% het clown female, and then a spot nose that is 100% het DG and 66% het clown.
I might have to talk to you about some clown hypo stuff. I talk about working with what you got. First, I found that one of my animals unexpectedly I have a banana that is full grown, mature. I knew it was het hypo. Didn't realize it was visual hypo because it's a banana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
Hard to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and I just wasn't looking for it. I was like, I don't know, maybe it is. But I'm also starting to think one of my clowns is het hypo because I either got ungodly good odds and incredibly bright, crazy looking bananas, or that thing's got a het in it as well. And somebody brought up that it could be, maybe it's a Partho egg from the mom. I'm like, that seems like a long stretch. Maybe a male and a female did it the old fashioned way and made a hypo. What about that?
Right. There you go.
Maybe it just happened the way it's supposed to happen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there you go.
But I hadn't considered it, but that's all come to light this season, and I love the hypo clown, and especially with those mahogany, black pastel, chocolate, and hypo and clowns looks phenomenal. Together would be phenomenal. I'm gonna have to talk to you about something down the line here as
For
things
sure.
evolve. So
Anytime.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Somebody was asking, just because it was timely when we were talking about frozen thawed. What's up, Jay? What temperatures they go for? And it looks like they're in pretty good hands. I think Nicole and Benevolent Reptiles replied. I go a little hotter on mine. I get mine up to the between over 100 and approaching 110 is where I like to have mine to get a good strike response. The only problem with that is you're flirting with cooking the animal or cooking the rat at that point. 110 you're getting into rare and mid-rare temperatures, internal temperatures. If you get much higher than that, and you're going to start cooking your rat. So I know it sounds probably more details than people want to know. There's a certain smell that I pay attention for, and once I smell that from the rats, I almost don't even need the thermometer. I'm ready to, or the thermal gun. So the little fuzzies and I don't use pinky rat pups and fuzzy rats. They heat a whole lot sooner, so I'm heating them right next to me. Yeah, while I'm working on the computer, and once I smell them, man, I'm ready to go. But the ones in the big room, they'll be another half hour later of rotating and flipping kind of thing. But the hotter you can get them without actually cooking them, the better strike response you're generally going to get. And somebody said, use tongs. By all means, use tongs. Your hand is in there at 98.6. So I mean, it ain't going to know that there's a thin line between your thumb and the face of that rat. So anyhow, that would be my input. Audience, if you've got topics and things you want to discuss, let us know. I apologize. I got a 5:30 wake up, and then Rashad told me he's got a 3:30 wake up in the morning. So everything's relative. I've seen many more 5:30s at the end of the day than at the beginning of the day. But I got
there you go.
I don't make it my normal thing, but I of the two, that's usually where I see it. So let me know what you guys want to discuss. We got another 20-30 minutes, so there's no rush right now. But let me know what you guys want to discuss. So Rashad, do you do, and I think I know the answer based on our conversation, but do you do any vending, or do you keep the sales or the business on sort of a little quieter level, or strictly to Morph Market, or what's your strategy on that?
Yeah, so I do have Morph Market. However, the majority of my sales have been coming just through conversation from people and word of mouth. Because I try and I really work hard at developing relationships with people, and just growing from there. So like I said in the chat earlier, if I don't follow you, I'm sorry. Reach out to me. I will gladly follow you. Let's have a conversation. Right? You reached out to me to have a conversation, and I immediately realized how I related to you. Because the first thing that I noticed, and I think the first time I ever watched your show is when Antoine from High Desert Pythons was on. And the first thing I noticed immediately, right, was the coat. So when you reached out to me to be on your show, I said, I'm going to surprise him. I'm going to wear my coat. I'm going to wear my hat. I'm just going to,
Man, you kept that quiet for a long time, because people don't know too. We've been working on this date tonight 2-3 months, something like
for a while,
maybe longer. Yeah,
for a while. And so I wanted to surprise you there. And like you said, a lot of people do not know. I don't talk about it. I'm not one of the people who brag and boast on the things that they do all the time. It's good for people to know what you do. That way, if they need your services, networking in a sense like that. But
right.
I'm not out there like, hey, I'm a chef, hire me. Hey, here you go. Hey, no, word of mouth gets around. Like I said, my wife constantly, hey, so-and-so needs you to do this. So-and-so needs you to do that. Hey, you want to do this event? Hey, you want to do this event? Oh, people at work, hey, we need to hire you for this. We just going to have you cook for the whole office. Like, it's stuff like that. But it's also stuff like that that makes me whole. It makes me feel a whole lot better than knowing that people are willing to look my way than struggling to force people to believe in my talent. So That's one of the things that I do love about what I do. And it's all about the love for the food first, the love of the art first, the love of photography first, love of these reptiles first, before any type of monetary profit.
Yeah,
That's just how I am.
and that's where the passion part comes from. It's the old, I always mess it up, but Mark Twain said something. Basically, if you do what you love, you're going to feel like you're always on vacation. Make your vocation your vacation type of thing.
For sure.
So Jay came in late. Jay and I ran restaurants together for 12 years, and then he went
Nice.
and he bought his family's restaurant, and it was a really great day when he told me that. Yeah, Jay, Rashad has a catering business, and obviously my background, Jay. Jay is one of those entrepreneurial buddies that we just talk and we dream and we chat, and 99% of what we dream of doesn't come true. And then there's the 1% where suddenly he's running his own family's restaurant on a beachside town in Florida.
Nice,
I'm raising
nice.
ball pythons, and we know each other now for like say 12, 15 years. So it's really, really special stuff. I noticed on your what I always say, I try and find a bond or some sort of relation with people that are on the show. And what attracted me to your brand, first, your logo is sharp and it's clear and it scales really nicely.
Thank you.
And there's sometimes it's luck that happens, but more often than not, there's a precision and a purpose behind that. And I find in talking with you and hearing some of your other interviews, that's no accident. There's a precision and purpose to a lot of what you do, including your plates and including your snakes. The other thing I like though too was it was never like it's sort of matter of fact. Hey, here's what I'm working on now. Oh, now he's working on double recessives. Look at this guy. Okay, as a matter of fact, here's what I'm working on. I like that idea of we get down to business, we do the work, and sure, we could talk about it on a show like this kind of thing, but at the end of the day, we still got to do the work, and it doesn't matter how many likes and screams we get and all of that. At the end of the day, the results in the end product are good. So I do see that.
Sure.
We got a couple topics here. I believe that's Jason at Ancestral Royal Pythons.
Yes.
Thoughts on Puzzle? It's wildly popular. I see it at the shows. It's hot right now. The guys that are in it have their feet up, or they're they gotta step up on the rest of us. I don't know. Again, I got 10 recessives. I probably got DG in front of it. I probably got some double recessives in front of it. I know Jeremy Bod's hot on it, and I respect Jeremy hugely. I don't know. I'm not as excited about it yet. Then again, I haven't seen what it can do, and I haven't studied it real closely. What's your thoughts, Rashad?
Quite honestly, I don't like it at all.
Okay, well, there you go. Even farther down than I went. Yeah.
But and I was on Terrence and Keisha's show last week, Keys Constrictors. Shout out to them. I'm just not a fan. Yeah. Not saying that it doesn't have the potential to do great things. Not saying that it's not a good gym. It's not for me. Right. And that's just where I'll leave it. I know a lot of I got a lot of hate from puzzle fans last week.
Well, now see, that's funny in itself to me, because that's like saying, well, I'm not into classical music. Okay, fine, don't be into classical music. It ain't like that there's some like club or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think forget puzzle for a minute. I think ball pythons are so cool because we are part of their evolution. And I don't know, maybe this happens with other animals, but I really don't know of any. And I certainly have never experienced it myself. What the industry was yesterday is different than what it is tomorrow. And a lot of industries 100%. Say that. We say that about restaurants, blah, blah, blah. No, you know what? There's still a table. People still sit at it. We take a short order. We cook their food. They eat it, enjoy it. Boom. That's the industry. Ball pythons are not that way. Puzzle wasn't here. I mean, maybe it was here, but I didn't know about it. And DG came out of nowhere, and I realized that they don't just come out of nowhere. These are 8, 10, 15-year projects that were simmering under the water that came up. However, for the masses and what can be enjoyed by the masses, these things are happening right away as more and more people start breeding, as the big guys are expanding into South America, markets like China, as the world's getting smaller and we can ship faster and faster. These things are going to go, man. Like in our lifetime, we're going to see quad and quintuple visuals that 10 years ago we would have said, you're out of your mind. That'll never happen in our lifetime.
Now we're looking like next 2 years.
It's going to happen. Yeah, that's right. It's going to happen, man. And that evolution is cool. So puzzle was part of that to me. There's going to be people that like it, that don't like it. I wouldn't say I don't like it. I put blinders on myself. If I'm not going to work with something, why am I going to fall in love crazy over it? I got so much going on, so I don't know. I'm not that up on it.
Disclaimer also. I'm also the guy, right? Like with DG, I'm also the guy. I'm going to wait on a combo that I like. Like I'm not the experimental type to say, hey, I'm going to try this and try to do it before anybody else tries it, or try to put it, I'm not that guy. I'm the one that sees a combo and I'm like, that makes me like it now. So now I'll go buy it. And it not to push you to the next question, but it kind of Reggie asked, who are your top 3 breeders?
Yeah, right? Let's talk about that. This is kind of the quick fire time. We don't need to spend 30 minutes on a topic anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So Reggie asked, who are your top 3 breeders? So the first person I'll say, one, because it's close to me, it's personal to me, and that's going to be Keisha from Splashback Reptiles. One thing that I love about Keisha, not just about the animals that she produces, but she's just not afraid to go after what she wants, whether it costs her $300 or whether it costs her $3,000. She's going to find a way to make it happen for her. And that's one thing that I really love about how she does things. Number 2, believe it or not, I'm going to go with Reggie.
Yeah.
Only reason is because when it comes down to Reggie's also the same in kind of with me. Reggie follows what Reggie likes. If Reggie likes it, Reggie's going to have it, right? Whether it's a $200 Mojave het clown or whether it's a $4,000 sunset. If Reggie wants it, so those type of things, right? I admire. My third breeder, it's gonna be a real close between, and this is gonna be big breeder status, right? So I'm not gonna say Justin. Only reason I can't relate to Justin is because of one, how elevated he is in his projects. 2, his pocket status. 3, his status in the industry. I just cannot relate to Justin. Is he a great guy? Do I follow him? Absolutely. But I'm probably gonna have to fall back and say, wow, it's gonna be another Georgia breeder. And I've been following this guy for a long time, and I don't have anything from him. I just like how he operates. And it's going to be Mike Weaver from Dreamweaver
cool.
Reptiles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I just like how he moves. He's very personable, very family oriented. His wife is with him everywhere he goes. Yeah. It's just those type of things that I value in people. So I think those are going to be my top 3.
I'm glad you said that about I'll give my top 3 here in a minute. I'm trying to formulate mine. You said the value in the people and what they value. Like there's amazing snakes all over the place, but when you find that you relate to somebody on a personal level and not even transactionally what they've done for you, just out of the goodness of who they are and how they behave, even towards other people, forget what they've done for me. I'm fine. How about what they've done for other people, kind of thing. I think that's amazing, and I think that's as much a part of any business and life, and it should be if it's not for people. So on that note, small breeders is like that's a really vague outline. I guess we're gonna go anybody not in that sort of top 10 that control everything.
Right.
But I was struck really, really early on by Kai at Lucas Landon Royals. He's in the audience. He produces amazing stuff. He's open with what he produces. He's transparent. I learned a ton from him before I ever approached him. And then when I did approach him, he was incredibly kind to me, man. I think I'd done 1 or 2 episodes and he was like, yeah, I'll come on your show. I was like, what? Okay. So I've always really respected Kai. I can't wait to we got to figure out how to hang out one day. I'd drink a beer with the guy one of these days too. But
there you go.
but he's been very good to me. Same with Bod's Exotic Reptiles, Jeremy. Hardworking, fantastic person. I was just talking to him this afternoon. Anyway, and his stuff is great. The other 2 I would say, and I'm leaving a ton of people out, of course, but the other 2 people I would say are Dale Richards, who I would argue is probably a pretty big breeder relative to what I'll ever be doing. But Dale
he's pretty big, yeah.
He's pretty big. Dale's pretty big. But there's another guy in DeLand that Dale works with, George MD. Man, George is pretty big, but George produces some killer stuff, man. His eye for pairings and what to go for. Hardworking, good dude. Gave me again was a early before I even had the show. He was on one of my videos. He was kind enough just to do an episode with me. And he's a hardworking guy. He's in the beverage industry. So, I mean, even with all his success, he's still working a day job and grinding it out on the weekends. So those are what I look for or lean to. And I know I've forgotten a ton of people in the industry.
I'm about to say, yeah, it's still a ton of, it's definitely a ton of people that's still out there that, you look up to, that you follow, that you, tend to model your program like. So it's definitely a lot more people out there.
Right.
But if I had to pick, if I had to pick a dream team, like those are my 3.
That's right. Yeah. If I could hire those consultants to come in here and draw it out. Yeah, you got that right, man. All right, let's see. Straight Blast Python says, what kind of sustainability projects do you do? People say bells pay the bills, but I can't seem to move a bell to save my life. So I have said bells pay the bills. But although I didn't produce any this year, my general conceptual idea for sort of and when you say sustainability, you're talking financial sustainability, cash flow, that kind of thing. For me, I go with the tried and the true, the proven, been around. I like pieds. I like clowns. I actually still am high on banana. I know that other people aren't, but I still am. But I'll tell you why. Those are the 3 that both stand out to new eyes. Somebody that's never seen a ball python and sees a banana or a pied goes, holy cow, every time. And then clown is like the project that every breeder wants to get into. And if I could provide a low barrier to entry in that $300 to $500 range of animals that stand out or are a good entry for future breeders, those are my sustainability animals, but they're also the byproducts of what I'm missing because I'm working higher end clown stuff. I'm working higher end stuff. Banana, I get a kick out of. I got a mature female. It was one of the first mature females I ever bought. So I just worked with what I got. But those are mine. I do like the idea of bells. They do move, but I think you need to be in a pet first-time viewer. I don't think you're going to move them on Morph Market. I think you got to go to a show. I think you got to be vending in a pet store. I'm not recommending vending at a flea market, but that sort of thing where people could walk up and go, whoa, holy, what is that? Then, yeah, they definitely gain a lot of attention for sure. Those are my thoughts on that topic. What do you got?
I got you. So I do agree with you. This year, I hatched 5, 4, 15, 20. This year I've hatched, whether it's solo or joint projects, I've hatched 21 pods. I have two
Yeah, there you go, right?
that aren't holdbacks, right?
Yeah,
So I've also, over the span of 3 years, I've hatched about 40 bananas. I've got one. I have three that were holdbacks,
yeah,
and one is actually for sale, and as of right now, will be picked up next weekend because somebody sent me money on them. But
right.
I got a banana black pastel that I hatched. He had a cleft lip,
Yeah,
so I kept him. There's no
right.
need for him to go. And my buddy Jermaine at Maine's Morph Creations, he actually named him for me. So we call him Wyclef. so that's his name. We call him Wyclef. Other than that, I've got a banana head clown female that's possible head pod that I held back, and I got a banana double head clown pod male that I have here. But like I said, he'll be going to his new home in a little while. So out of the clowns I've produced, I've been producing clowns for the past 3 years. The only thing that I have right now are holdbacks. I have my lesser spot nose clown, my lesser clown, my lesser blackhead clown, my clown pies, and that's it, right?
Yeah,
So I think you hit it dead on the money when it comes down to what really does sell.
yeah. And I wish I could say I was good enough at it that's I just crank those out and I kick back and drink pina coladas elsewise, but I don't. I'm not there yet. And there's a really good episode that Jana and Jessica over at the Holdback Rack did on the cost of producing a snake. And they use a lot of assumptions, but they came up with, and I think it's a pretty good idea, that basically every snake that you produce is going to cost you about $60 to produce, and that's if you make them every year. And so at $300 to $500, you can make money doing it. You probably can't retire, but you can make money doing it. So my plan has been, if I stay in those projects, the byproducts of that will help pay the bills. And then, somebody, I get their point. I forget who. Oh, PCFs is, DG will pay your bills. Yeah, if you could buy it, but there ain't that many $4,000 buyers out there to move stuff every day either. So you got to balance, your go-tos. I'm a certified sommelier, wine specialist. I still sell White Zen, man. It pays the electric bills.
White Zen definitely pays.
It will pay the bills. I ain't drinking it, but if 20 other people will,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? It'll pay the bills, man. So that's what I would go with, and that's kind of my business model as I get ready to vend, as I try and look to some other vending opportunities and how to reach. The other thing, too, is that those are the people, if they do fall in love with it, they can come back. A regular pied and a regular clown today could very well be a clown pie project next year or whatever else that, or they could go like me and be like, well, I need 10 recessive. It only takes one little thing to blow up. So that's kind of my thought. Man, it's 9:30 and I said we try and keep it tight because Lord knows I will yap on. But I got to have you come back, Rashad. I feel like we just started scratching the surface and hitting our stride here a little bit, too.
I'm okay with that, man. Again, I definitely appreciate you having me on the show. It's definitely a pleasure. I've looked forward to it for weeks. So, again, thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you making it happen. A lot of times when a long period of planning goes by, people flake out or I don't feel like doing that or, whatever. And I appreciated you coming back. I forget how we reconnected, but one way or another time had passed, then we reconnected and we still had to book 6-8 weeks out. So I appreciate it. I wish you the very, very best. I'm not joking about Atlanta. It's one of my favorite towns I know you said you're a homebody, but Atlanta's got a great nightlife and a night scene, man. And
I get out when I can.
Yeah. We could probably show each other some various places around town that, we'd have a real fun time at, man. It's been a while since I've been to the Claremont or the Star Bar, man.
There you go.
Man,
yeah.
I'm saying, man,
Not the Claremont.
We're going to go hit the Claremont, man. We got to, everybody needs to Google that, and you still won't understand, even if you do Google it. That can only be understood in person and appreciated in person.
That's right. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Time I get to, but
that is for sure.
Maybe I'll be up in Atlanta at Repticon. We get together, have some food or something, man. It'd be real good to break bread and hang out in person. So stick around after we finish up for just a second. So audience, thank you all very, very much. We were up above 50 people most of the night, and most of y'all I know I really, really treasure your support. Check out Redline. I think 4 or 5 of y'all said you'd save money, man. Thanks. Keep saving money. Enjoy them. I think they have a good product. If you like frozen thawed, check out Cold Blooded Cafe. I've been using them for a lot longer than I've been advertising, and I truly don't think there's a reason to even price the other companies because that's the quality that you're putting in your animals. So I'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Check out next week, Ray from Alluring Serpents, and be good to each other. Have a good week. Rashad, thank you very, very much, man. I had a blast tonight. It was a good one, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to hit the music. See you guys next time. Good night, everybody.